A pair of bills that supporters say could have reduced overcrowding in state prisons is vetoed by Governor Tate Reeves. Allie Martin has reaction from two local sheriffs who say the bills catered to the offenders and did not have input, that is, from law enforcement or crime victims.
While the proposals were championed by prison reform advocates, the legislation was strongly opposed by sheriffs and police chiefs across the state who said it did not adequately address the public safety or victims' rights.
It's a sad thing whenever you have somebody that has proven their past record is that they just really don't want to do right, and they've served time for a violent crime, and they get out, and you hope that they've reformed, but they don't, and then you've got to go look at a family member and try to explain to them how they got out early, and it's pretty devastating.
Chickasaw County Sheriff James Myers says he has experienced that situation more times than he would like to remember. It is one of the many reasons the sheriff was opposed to recent legislation. Senate Bill 2123 would have allowed people convicted of nonviolent offenses to become eligible for parole when they served 25% of their sentence. Inmates convicted of most violent offenses would be eligible for parole when they served 50% of their sentence. House Bill 658 would have allowed up to 3 felony convictions to be expunged for some nonviolent crimes. Sheriff Myers believes true prison reform must include sentences that actually punish repeat offenders.
Somebody gets a 10-year or 15, 20-year sentence, that's not necessarily what that means. I mean, they go down to Department of Corrections, they can calculate their time, and I mean, I've seen 10-year sentences where folks get out in 18 months.
Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson said criminal justice reform from 2 years ago was responsible for the early release of Gary Scotty McDonald. He is in the Lee County Jail, charged in the Baldwin murder of Connor Noel Kyle. Sheriff Johnson says McDonald, a repeat offender with multiple felony convictions, could have seen early release under the proposed legislation.
This murder that he committed, if this 2123 had passed, it would have fell under the limelight of this individual being convicted and possibly having the opportunity to be out after he served 50% of his time. And that is totally unacceptable. What is that saying to this young lady's family? What is it saying to the community? I mean, the community was terrorized for over a week.
Prison reform advocates promise they'll be back next legislative session. Both Sheriff Johnson and Sheriff Myers say they hope law enforcement has a seat at the table. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Myers believes each criminal case should be looked at on an individual basis, with first-time offenders having more opportunities for alternative sentences and other methods of rehabilitation.